Welcome back to another team building tip with Dan Talbot on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with Dan's tip for this week, but first let's hear from our podcast sponsors. We want to say thanks to Huddle. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes play better with video and analytics. Huddle's the complete performance platform. They've got online tools, they have smart cameras, they've always had analytics, but there's so much more. Huddle's also built for every level of play, from club and youth teams all the way through high school, college, and even the pros use Huddle to help their teams play better. You're in pretty good company with over 6 million users, including the college coaches you're trying to get to recruit your kids. If you want to find out more about how Huddle can help you and your program and how your school can become a Huddle school, go to huddle.com and talk to their professionals. Remember, at Huddle, we power sports. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing. Hometown helps thousands of schools and organizations across the country seamlessly provide convenient digital ticketing for their communities, their families, and their fans. Go to hometownticketing.com and find out how to sell your tickets digitally, how to scan the people that come to the games, how to collect your revenue, and find out about the tremendous customer support that Hometown Ticketing provides. Hometown Ticketing also allows you to sell digital tickets for events beyond athletics, including performing arts, dances, and even graduation. Go to hometownticketing.com and find out how they can help you and your program. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to say thanks to SnapRaise. Go to SnapRaise.com and find out how their fundraising platform can help you. Better fundraising makes better programs, and you can put the SnapRaise digital fundraising difference to work for you. There's no upfront cost, your data is secure, and what's better, it actually works. Choosing the best fundraiser for you and your group is critical, and SnapRaise is easy and effective, and as I said, it works. If you go to SnapRaise.com, you can check out the thousands and thousands of dollars that they have helped programs raise, including our program. Our coaches use SnapRaise, and it was just fantastic. Change your fundraising game plan and start a fundraiser that works for you. Go to SnapRaise.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and find out how athletic directors, coaches, and schools are creating world-class marketing content for their school social media channels. They can do it in seconds on any device, and it doesn't require any design experience. It's so simple, even I can do it. We use Gipper templates to announce our podcast episodes, and my backdrop for the podcast is another Gipper template. Go to Gipper.com and start creating world-class content for your school. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in registration. But Final Forms is more than that. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility and reminders for parents about policies and physicals and all the forms that go with athletics. Final Forms can also help your coaches with things like communication and attendance and even their own certification management. Final Forms can help you as an athletic director with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. And it does this with secure language translation. You know, it's time for you to take the next steps and find and talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, find out what Final Forms can do for you. Go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and start working with the Final Forms team. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. They've got a variety of interactive touchscreen video consoles and an extensive library of templates to help recognize the athletic achievements of your students. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, and go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You can also email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com for more information. That's sales at vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards not only raise money for your department, but also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or send them an email at sales@sidelineinteractive.com for more information. You can set up a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action and find out exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sales@sidelineinteractive.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Team Building Tips with Dan Talbot. Every Thursday, Dan Talbot, certified master athletic administrator and the senior director of athletics for the Polk County School District here in Florida, joins us and shares his wisdom. You've heard me say it before, but it bears repeating. Dan's very active at the state level and the national level, and we're very lucky to have him with us on this series. So, Dan, we're at episode number 15. What do you have for the listeners today?
Something that's very dear to my heart, and I think it's, if you're starting a new role this coming school year, maybe as an athletic director or a coach or whatever it may be, I just remember, if you ask me, and I can tell you, I got the best job in the state of Florida. There's no doubt about it. I truly believe the way our school board and our superintendent, deputy superintendent, and our regional assistant superintendents, the value that they put on athletics in our district. And believe me when I say that it's not the most important thing in our district by any means, is it? But they understand the importance of what athletic does in a community and what athletics can do for a school. And so they don't hinder that process at all. So with that support, I truly feel I have the best job. And I remember the day I got this job in 2016. I got a call from my mentor, who was my head football coach in college, Duke Iverson. And he was excited. He was happy for me. And on another note, just goes to show you that, here I am, 2016, I haven't played a snap for the man in 20 something years, and we're still having a conversation. That the whole impact on lives coaches has is a story for another time. But, he just asked me the question, what's your legacy going to be? What's your legacy going to be? I said, well, what are you talking about? Because, I was the dog that caught the bumper, but never thought past what I was going to do once I caught the bumper. And I was just chasing that bumper. And I finally caught the bumper, and I never put 2 seconds of thought into what I was going to do after I caught it. And he humbled me pretty quick. It's like, what's your legacy? When you leave that job, what do you want to be known for? And he goes, you have to be thinking about that while you're doing the job. And that's always stayed with me from every day that I get up is, what's your legacy going to be? What are people going to remember you as in this position, whether I'm here another 10 years or another 6 months, regardless of that, is what are people going to remember me by being in this position? And I take that very serious to heart. And so every decision that I want to make, goes back on the premises, is it good for kids? If you look at my time here, I assisted with getting girls weightlifting as a sport. Boys and girls lacrosse is now a sport. We just added boys and girls bowling, beach volleyball, boys volleyball, girls flag football. We're adding sports. We're figuring out a way to make it work. And, is that my legacy, adding sports? I don't know. That's easy. It's just, convincing, people that it's the right thing to do because kids want to do it. And why wouldn't you want to do it if kids want to do it? That's why we're here, and that's why we have jobs. I think people forget that. But I always thought about, what's your legacy? So for you new athletic directors out there, or these people starting a new job, there's plenty of people out there like, Becky Moran, with the National Association. You're in a she's in a great opportunity at the NIAAA main office here in Indianapolis. What's her legacy going to be? I wonder what her legacy is going to be, and if she's thinking about that. Or Richard Barton, same thing with him. He was just hired as well. And what's his legacy going to be? And for all you new coaches out there, what do you want your legacy to be? And new athletic directors, what is it you want it to be known for? And I think when you put that in perspective, it really challenges you to do a good job, and every decision that you make, what is your legacy? And, here in Polk County, I want to be known as a coach-friendly athletic director, that's someone that always put kids first, that was always available, and worked tirelessly for the kids and for the student athletes to give them a better experience and to build Polk County athletics into something, very respectable on all ends. I mean, the problem in our society is if you don't promote the good, no one will for you. They're only going to promote the negative. But I can sit here to say that every year I've been county athletic director, every one of our school's athletic programs has a 3.0 or higher unweighted GPA. And that is something that we can be proud of. And that's not something. I mean, last year our GPA was a 3.2 unweighted GPA for our student athletes. You got to promote the good. So what's my legacy? It's something I think about every day. And it's what gets me up in the morning, and it's what keeps me out late at night when I'm attending, contests or events or visiting with student athletes or parents or coaches and stuff. It's something to think about. I just urge you to, for all those new ones out there, you just took a new job. What's your legacy going to be? What do you want to be remembered for? And I don't think you can go wrong.
Well, very timely message too. We're entering, kind of completing that first month right now of high school sports here in Florida, just on the eve of September. But what a great reminder. Again, we get into this for the kids, hopefully, but you bring up such a great point. What is that legacy going to be? And for people just starting out, you're absolutely right. You don't think about that, but you should. Okay. Very cool stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, you and I have known each other for a number of years, and, I can say without hesitation that, I don't know if legacy is the right word, certainly part of it, but this chunk of time that, you and I have known each other is certainly part of your legacy. And it's been that of starting programs for kids. It's also been being a champion for the athletic directors in your district with regards to having, I don't know any other way to say it, monetary compensation for achieving CAA or CMAA status, which is huge in our state. So
it's just important. And I think it's, it's important to know that you care. And I care about the student athletes of Polk County. I care about our athletic directors and our school-based administrators. I mean, the people in the school are the most important people in our district by far of any means. It's just, one of those, during the first week of school, I spent 3 days, away from my job as the senior director of athletics for Polk County, and immersed myself in the 2 middle schools, or actually 2 middle schools, but I was in the morning at one middle school and spent the afternoon at another middle school helping the principals, get kids on buses, making life easier. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you got to be here for kids, and it's okay for, my job to stop for 3 days and go help, a principal at a school, make her day even easier, because there's days where I won't have to see or talk to a kid, and that's good or bad. I know, but I think people lose track of why we have jobs, especially when you get in these upper leadership personnel. It's like, when I hired my assistant, I told her, I said, are you going to be okay? I said, because here's the thing, you've got 4 years of knowing the student athletes and being able to go to that safe zone of your former school. And I struggle with it too. Year 5, I mean, you go to a sporting event and no one knows who you are. So you got to be creative and figure out those ways. And, and that's all part of, just like you said, your legacy as who you are as a person. And Jake, I enjoy our time together and talking and bouncing ideas off you. And I love what you're doing with the podcast. I think it came at the right time during the pandemic, and it's genius. I mean, especially for, I'm old school. Like, I mean, I'm pen and paper, notepad kind of guy. But in this digital world with these younger athletic directors, the podcast is a great thing. They can listen to it or watch it or whatever they want to do. But, we have to adjust with the times and go from there. But, just sit back, and if it wasn't for kids, we wouldn't have jobs.
No, absolutely. It always comes back to, in our profession, what's best for the kids. And again, really, I appreciate you saying those things about the podcast. For me, again, it hit the right time in my career too. I was just, transitioning from full-time AD, into a neat position at my school for my final year, and then, retirement. I certainly enjoy doing the interviews and hearing the stories, and people seem to like them. I guess the downloads are the proof of that. But also, again, and I know you and I've talked about this before, is, being part of an organization, whether it's my school, the FIAAA, or for you, Polk County, where new ideas are embraced. It's not leadership that's saying, "Oh, we've never done that," or "I don't know if we should do that." Instead, it's, "Hey, let's try it. Why not? Run with that idea."
Yeah.
So,
I mean, because you've been there, "Hey, I want to try this." Well, how many other schools are doing it? None. That's why I want to try it. Instead of, it's easy to do something when 20 other schools are already doing something. And, one of the big things is, can you do something when no one else is doing it? I think is very important. But I know we get caught up in our lives and stuff like that. But, people always ask me, do I miss what do I miss most about when I played college football? And I won a whole lot of games. I was fortunate. There's no doubt about it. But it's kind of like the athletic director world. I miss the relationships, and, in being able to talk to my roommates and my teammates and stuff like that. I had, a great phone call yesterday with one of and this guy's actually dear to my heart, because we actually played high school football together. We grew up together in high school, and then we actually played college football together. And then all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere, I get a text from him on the highway that shows that he's 8 minutes from my house. You know what I mean? And he lives in Colorado. Those are the things that I missed and most enjoy, is building those relationships with people, because I've said it once and I've said it 100 times. I'm glad I'm not coaching anymore. Just for the fact that when I coached, I used to be the biggest liar in America, because I wasn't going to give you every single ingredient you need to bake a better cake than me. But now that you're an athletic director, we all got the same problems. Trust me. I mean, my phone has it wrong because I have it on do not disturb, but trust me, once I take it off, it's going to start ringing. The parents calling, the coaches calling, everyone's calling, wanting answers and ideas. But, I love being an athletic director, because it's one of the truest forms of where it's okay to give someone every bit of advice that you can on a topic, and not everyone has everyone's idea. And it's fully legal to steal from people too. That's what I love about it too. It's fully legal to take something. And, I'm one of those guys where if I can ever help you in any way, not that I have all the answers, but to give you the type of guy I am, I make sure when I send you a document, I send it to you in Word, so you don't have to ask for it. Because usually when people send you stuff, they send you PDF, which, you can still edit PDF. I have the capability the program to do that, but I send it in Word and say, "Hey, here you go. Change the logo. Have at it."
No, you're so right. And it's acceptable to say, "Hey, that's a great idea. I'm stealing that. I'm letting you know I'm stealing that and taking it back to my school." And that person is going to say, "Absolutely. Let me know how it works." Maybe they'll steal it back.
Well, and then if you make it better, let me know, because so. But no, it's a great profession. The turnover rate is disappointing. I've yet to gone through a summer without replacing an athletic director, and I had high hopes, but it never fails. Now it's just like, I tell them at the end of the year, there'll be 2-3 new ones in here, and they'll look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, it's just true. It's just, it's not for everyone, and the late nights, and but that's where you got to take time for yourself. But to wrap it up, if you know your legacy and what you want to accomplish, every little bit and piece of that falls into what your legacy wants to be.
Right. Okay. And again, you and I, we've said this in different ways. We got a great job. We've never worked a day in our lives. But I have found, I think, something that's just maybe a tiny bit better now that I'm into retirement. This past week, I spoke at 4 different schools, 1 in Florida, 3 up in North Carolina, 2 coaching staffs and 2 parent groups, and being able to share, our best practices, things I've learned from you or from other ADs, and just kind of see the expressions on the coaches, or especially the parents' faces when you talk about, well, this is how you support your coach. This is how you support your kids. This is how you support the athletic director. You actually, hopefully it'll come to fruition, but it actually looked like they were believing what I was sharing with them.
Well, and I saw the pictures on the internet online, and the first thing I looked was like, man, look at the size of that gym. Are the bleachers all the way pulled out? Because I saw you were pretty good ways from the baseline going, man, I tell you what, that's a dream to be the AD there, man. The parents are 15 feet from the court, where some gyms, I mean, we have a gym in Polk County where, the bleachers go right to the baseline, and the kids have to use the front row as the bench because there's no room. And I'm sitting there looking at you speak to that school in North Carolina going, man, they built that school right. That front row of the bleacher is like 8 feet away. That can be the difference between keeping an official and not keeping an official. It's amazing how our minds work when we're looking at pictures.
Oh, no, when I walked in, and I'm a basketball referee, that I caught that same thing. Well, hey, I know you're busy. You actually work for a living. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit, how do they get a hold of Dan Talbot?
Best way to get a hold of me is my cell phone, 863-661-0647. Again, 863-661-0647. Call, text anytime.
Dan Talbot, Certified Master Athletic Administrator, FIAAA Certification Coordinator, longtime AD. Thanks so much for sharing with our listeners today, and all the best for a great school year.
All right.
For listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of every interview get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back next week for another team building tip, and just about every day for the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. And again, we want to say thanks to our sponsors. I want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Our coaches just loved the smart cameras, the analytics. Go to huddle.com, find out how they can help you in your program. Also want to thank Sideline Interactive. Our school is one of the first in Florida to have a Sideline Interactive indoor scoring table, and it's just fantastic. We use it for games, but also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Tremendously versatile tool. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I never got to use Hometown because I was retiring just as they were coming into fashion, but I have spoken to hundreds of athletic directors across the country, and they all swear by the Hometown platform and the Hometown customer service. Go to hometownticketing.com and talk to their experts about how Hometown Ticketing can help you. Also want to thank Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. Their interactive touchscreen video consoles can be a great school record device for all of your sports, as well as a Hall of Fame for your athletic department and beyond. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or send them an email at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started. Also want to say thanks to Final Forms. Final Forms is the industry leader in registration, and they can help your parents with mobile accessibility, with reminders about policies and physicals. They can help your coaches with team communication and attendance, and they can help you as an athletic director with eligibility and rosters and all the reports that come across your desk. Go to finalforms.com/Jake for more information. That's finalforms.com/Jake. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors and coaches are creating world-class marketing content for their schools. The backdrop that you're looking at right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, is a Gipper template, and we use Gipper to announce all of our podcast episodes. Once again, go to Gipper.com and start creating world-class content. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Our school used surveys for everything, for coaches, for parents, for kids, for teachers. And the feedback that we got was almost always overwhelmingly positive, and it'll probably be the same for you. But it also allowed that squeaky wheel parent to vent and sometimes illuminate a small issue that I was able to address and keep it from turning into a larger issue because I didn't know about it because I hadn't done the survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com for more information. And finally, we want to say thanks to SnapRaise. Go to SnapRaise.com and see how their fundraising platform can work for you. Our coaches use SnapRaise, and it was fantastic. As an athletic director, I wasn't involved, but I knew what was going on. It was easy to use. You could track your performance. And what's more important, it actually worked. Go to snapraise.com and check out the thousands and thousands of dollars that their platform has helped coaches just like you raise. That's snapraise.com. Thanks again for listening to Team Building Tips with Dan Talbot. Come back next week for another episode and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again.